Come in and join the conversation here on Facebook at San Diego Gunpla, where everybody and anybody is welcome. Welcome back, everybody, and we're going to take a look at some of the new announcements that just came out from the Gundam Expo, and this is a doozy. So this is actually from our San Diego Gunpla page. You can check it out here on Facebook, but here are some of the pictures that we've blown up. So for now, it looks like we have the PG Unleashed that's coming out. And these are all 2021. These are all announcements that have been made. I'm sure you're going to be seeing tons of this stuff coming out on the internet in the next couple of days. And so we're going to go over them. We have the PG Unleashed going for around $300, $275, and the premium Bandai PG Unleashed Clear Body, which is confusing to me because it looks like it's going for about $50, and I assume it's just the outer armor. Now we have a new announcement for the real grade line, the Belgica's Children High Nu Gundam. So the difference between this and the other High Nu that's come out for the version Katoki is essentially that this is going to have more proportions similar to the new Gundam with thicker thighs and all that. And the color is also going to be a little bit different too. It's going to be more of a blue instead of more of a purple. So this is going to be really interesting. It's going to have, we've heard really great things about the new Gundam, and this is probably going to be no exception. So to go along with this real grade High Nu Gundam, we're also going to get an HG Nightingale with a price not determined just yet. So this is going to be really exciting. And with the Hathaway's Flash movie coming out, we have the Cassie Gundam and the Penelope coming out around the same time. I assume. And when I say the Penelope Gundam, I really mean that we're going to be getting a Cassie and a Penelope funnel effect set. They'll be released together. So this is going to set you back about $173, $175, maybe about $200 if you're getting it aftermarket. And you have the Cassie Gundam going for about $60. So actually really close to the same price as the Penelope. Now, here's news that I'm really excited about, and a lot of other people are excited about: the real grade Wing Gundam. Now, this has been a well-loved design in Gundam here in the United States, but this is going to have a couple of surprises that a lot of people are probably not going to be used to, and I've seen some scans or some pictures floating around of the articulation of the wings to actually look like wings instead of mechanical wings, so they can actually extend out a lot further. Now, I think that's a perfectly fine and amazing gimmick, but I would have to say that I'm pretty undecided. Most of the time when I display my Wing Gundam or my model kits, I'm going to try to have them in that kind of standing pose. And so it almost defeats the buying this model kit on the basis of having articulated wings. Now, we're moving on to the Master Grade Virtue Gundam. I think there's a little bit of a misspelling here, and a lot of people are really excited about this. We had the Exia, we had the Dynamis that was released, and the Curios that were big hits here in the United States, here in Southern California, here in San Diego. Now that the Virtue is coming out, the first generation of the Celestial Being mobile suits will be finally complete. So moving on, we have the premium Bandai Master Grade Mark V. Now, what's really interesting about this, specifically for me, is that this is the mold for the Doven Wolf. This is the mold for the Silver Bullet, for the Silver Bullet Suppressor, for almost essentially like a Psycho Gundam. That's kind of what the basis of the Mark V is. And so we can maybe expect seeing these things later on in the future. And I think a lot of people are really psyched to have the Mark V. That way you can kind of more or less finish up your Sentinel collection. Now, moving on, we have some really great Gundam Seed news. We have the Master Grade Jin. Now, a lot of people are, for better or for worse, Gundam Seed design fans. So to have a grunt suit from Gundam Seed getting the Master Grade treatment is going to be phenomenal and fantastic. And to go along with that, the 1/100th Calamity Gundam. So if you see a lot of these namings, right, you have the grade right next to it. But this one here actually has this word provisional. And I think it's because a lot of people are not sure yet if it's a 1/100 scale RE or if it's a 1/100 scale master grade. But we'll find out very soon. I'm very sure. So next up, we have a 2.0 for the master grade Dom. And I know there's some people out there who are really big Xeon fans, really big Dom fans. And I think you have a lot to be excited about. There's been a lot of great technologies and leaps in technologies for Gunpla in the last couple of years. And so to see this get the 2.0 treatment is going to be really interesting. Now, you're not going to get a lot of that external detail that you see on some of these other kits, but that's not why you get a Dom. You get the Dom because you're a fan of the older designs. Maybe you just want a little bit better articulation. Maybe you just want a little bit more of a solid construction, and that's what this is going to bring. So moving on to the other set of announcements, we have more Gundam Seed news with the HG 1144th scale Dagger L. Now this goes in line with the Windom that had just come out a little while ago. And so we're going to be really looking forward to seeing this as another addition to the Gundam Seed Destiny line of model kits. Now, I can probably assure you that with these proportions, especially with the feet, you're getting a lot of inspiration from the Strike Gundam and a lot of inspiration from the Windom, which is going to be fantastic. So I'm assuming that it's going to be fully compatible with all of the other Gundam Seed variants that are out, with those ball socket joints, with those really great articulated legs, hip swivels, and the 180 bends on the arms. And then for fans of Gundam Wing, we now have the fourth in the series of Gundam Wing high grade. So we now have the high grade Wing Gundam. We had the Sandrock that had come out not too long ago. Actually, I guess it was like last year or something like that. We had the Heavy Arms, and now we have the Death Scythe. And so I'm really excited to see what they do with the Shenlong. I know that's been a really big conversation in the USA Gundam community because everyone has been exposed to Gundam Wing growing up. And so to see the Shenlong, to maybe see the Ultron, to see the Death Scythe Hell will be really, really exciting. Now moving on, we have information for a new Iron-Blooded Orphans model kit, the Gremory. Now, I know absolutely nothing about this, but here's the thing. It has been a while since Iron-Blooded Orphans came out, and we even had a re-rise between Iron-Blooded Orphans ending and this current landscape, but we're still getting Iron-Blooded Orphans kits. And that is just a testament to say how big Iron-Blooded Orphans is in terms of a moneymaker for Bandai. So we're taking a look at this Gundam frame, basically series of construction that has been very lucrative for Bandai. You have tons of the same model kits that have tons of the same reusable parts, and all they have to do is switch out the armor. So as long as people really like this frame, as long as people really like this model kit, this model kit design, they like the external detail, they like the simple construction, they like the stability of it. Bandai has a way to generate money year after year with all these different types of Gundam frames. Now, moving on, we do see a new Zaku 2. Now, a lot of people are asking, why is this Zaku 2 any different from any of the other model kits that are out? And I would say that it looks like the old Zaku. That's pretty much it. So the new Zakus that have been coming out have been based off of the origin design. And while that is fine and dandy, it's not really the way that the old school Gundams and old school designs kind of look. So with this, we actually have a model kit that is updated, but looks as if it came from the old anime. And for me personally, I like this design because that's the way that I remember seeing it on TV. Now, while the origin kits are really good, they're not technically the aesthetic of what you saw back in the day. So it's great that you have this variation now. If you want the hyper detailed design, you can get that hyper detailed design. If you want the cartoonish looking design, you have that cartoonish looking design. You don't have to compromise. You can have both. Now, we're going to go dive into a lot of these Sangokuden kits that clearly I have not watched this iteration of Sangokuden. I watched the old iteration of Sangokuden, but I can assure you that a lot of these model kits look really cool. So we have the Goku Gundam going for about $6. We have the Nobunaga Gundam going for about $7 or $8. The Sargent Gundam going for about $6 as well, and the Benjamin Gundam with the price being undecided. Now, what I would have to say about these three right here is that the old line of Sangokuden Gundams had lots of gold parts and they had lots of clear parts. Now, just looking at these three right here, we do not see any of that. We see lots of detail and we see lots of different colors, but we don't see any clear parts. So they might be moving into a different direction for these. Now we also see these down here for the SD Gundam World Heroes Product B and Product A. Now you see, again, lots of really good external detail, lots of really good colors, lots of really, really cool looking stuff, but no clear effect parts. So this will be interesting to see how they kind of go down the line. And if I were to take a gander, this almost looks like a Denial Gundam. If I'm being honest, this one's really hard to tell for me. This one looks like the Verde Buster, just from the head. But I believe this is an Epion design. I'm just looking at the chest. Oh, shoot. And this one is also really hard to tell, but I think it could possibly be a Wing Gundam. A Wing Zero Custom. So this one clearly looks like an Epion. This one is a lot harder to tell. But I guess we'll see later on in the future. So we also are moving on to more of the premium Bandai. We're going to get a Master Grade 1/100 scale F90 Unit 2. And that's all I have to say about that, because there's not too much to it. I don't really know too much about the F90 series. I know that a lot of people like the Master Grade because you have all these different option parts, weapon parts, and that kind of stuff. As much as I like the idea of having that customization open to you, I find myself paralyzed by choice. I don't know how I'm going to configure things from day to day, and so I would rather just have one nice simple design where I can just paint it up, leave it alone, not touch it. But, you know, it is what it is. And for all the people who are really big F90 fans, here's your ticket. Unfortunately, it's P Bandai. All right, and we are moving on to more F90 stuff. So we have the Jupiter Battle specification. So people don't really know the Zanskar Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Crossbone Vanguard, the let's see here, the Gotian Empire? I forgot what they talk about in Crossbone. They all happen around the Jupiter area, like back out in like deep space. So that's why they have this Jupiter Battle specification information. So now we're kind of going into more P-Bandai. So we have the high grade Gundam Geminis 02 more weapon attachments. So good luck with that, Gundam Geminis fans, because I think this is like the third weapon attachment that you're getting. So another P-Bandai that I have no idea about is this Real Experience model RX-0 Unicorn Gundam, and it looks like it can auto-transform. Now that makes me very scared about what this price is going to be. So moving on, and we're almost done, is a high-grade Pale Rider Cavalry. So another reiteration of the Pale Rider. I have no idea what number of Pale Riders this is, but it sounds like it's probably around like the 5th or 6th iteration of the Pale Rider. So Pale Rider fans are going to be super happy. I'm going to be super happy because I'm not a Pale Rider fan, so I'm not gonna go. My wallet's gonna be a little safe for this guy. So we have a couple other things from Gundam Base. This MGEX Gundam Base Limited Unicorn Gundam TWC. Now, what's different about this? Probably it's a little shinier. Maybe you're getting a different base. Maybe you're getting some different decals. But as far as I know, I don't think there's anything really too different between this and the other one. We also have a Master Grade Gundam Base Limited RX-78-2. That's probably also going to have different, more vibrant colors for the model kit. And you can already kind of see this looks like it could be the 2.0. It's very possible. But typically, Gundam Base would be selling these 3.0s. So we also have a bust model, the 1/100 scale Freedom Gundam. That'll be released pretty soon for the commemoration of the 1/1 scale Freedom Gundam statue that is appearing in Shanghai. So I think we talked about this before, and we're just not really sure what the justification for buying this is, because like we saw for the Calamity, it's not listed as a high grade, master grade, whatever grade, RE, doesn't really matter. So what I think, and we both think it is it's just a static statue in 1/100 scale form that has LEDs built in. Now with that, it might be kind of worth the purchase, but because it's a Shanghai exclusive, you're probably going to pay a pretty penny. And with that, I think we're all done talking about all the new model kits that just come out. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time. If you'd like, you can join us on Facebook at San Diego Gunpla to carry on the conversation. And again, anybody and everybody is welcome. So we'll see you all next time.